Hello everyone and welcome back to Cover 2 TV. Me and Chris are back.
We're back, baby!
It's been a long time.
It's been 9 months. I wasn't here for the Super Bowl one, was I?
No, you were busy playing with True Geordie.
Is that right?
I think so, yeah. So as you can see, no Geno. Geno now lives in a different country. That's how long it's been since we've done this.
He's now a Canadian football fan.
He loves the CFL, does Geno. So yeah, there's no Geno anymore. Well, for the foreseeable future. He might come back at some point if Canada kicks him out.
Over under 6 months?
Over
Under 12 months?
Under.
Yeah. He's definitely getting kicked out of there soon.
He'll break some type of law at some point. But yeah, so it's just me and Chris now for the time being. And what we're going to do this week, well, we are going to preview the season. For those of you who are new to Cover 2 TV, this is kind of what we do. We just come here,
just chat biff for
lads.
a bit, just have a little chat in it. It's nice though, isn't it? Like, we don't really have the time to do this show. I mean, you've got dead busy since the new sort of job role and stuff. I don't think I've got time to do the show, but
we do it more as two lads talking about the NFL.
Yeah, it's nice to just chat.
Puts it in the calendar and it gives us an excuse because we used to always do this. Life got in the way, so it kind of replaces our WhatsApp NFL chats.
It does actually.
Just film it and put it out on YouTube. So Chris,
who's editing this year? Because Jenna did a sterling job last year, and you don't know how to edit, so it's kind of just me.
You've answered your own question.
There are going to be weeks where we just do the chat and don't edit it, really, isn't there?
You just don't put it out. It's fine. I can live with it. It's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do this week, we're going to talk through our very, very early season predictions. 2 parts this week. You know, we're giving you 2 shows this week because we've been away for so long, like London buses to come to 2 at once.
And the other thing is like it's our early season predictions. It's not. It's like 4 days ahead of the season. Everyone else did them after the Super Bowl. Yeah. We just took 9 months off and went, fuck it, you know what I mean?
We were tired. We had stuff to do. Jobs around the house.
Absolutely.
Kids, families.
I needed to paint a fence this summer, which I've not quite done, if I'm honest. I've done 2 of 3 fences.
I mean, you've done bit. You've intended.
It's autumn now. You don't paint fences in autumn. Officially autumn, I think, on the 1st of September.
It can wait.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
We've waited 9 months for NFL chat. You don't mind another couple of minutes, do you, while we talk about
home improvements? Yeah. So on this show, we're going to talk about basically the 8 division. Well, predict the 8 division winners plus the 2 wildcard teams from each conference as well. Have I done my maths right there? Yeah. So essentially, it's just 12 playoff teams who we think. And on the second show this week, we're going to talk through some individual awards, your rushing champions, your receiving champions, the MVP, etc. So Chris, if in February I said on the 1st of September, we're going to come back, Odell Beckham is going to be a Brown, Antonio Brown's going to be a Raider, Andrew Luck doesn't play anymore.
Yeah.
Anything else? Just like mad stuff. It's been, as off seasons go, it's been quite the eventful one. Probably one that we probably should have done shows about.
Absolutely, no, fuck it.
But we've been busy. So with all that being said, I think predictions are going to be hard this year because there's been so much change and like big name players either retiring, like say, or moving, changing teams. So let's start in the AFC then, and we'll start in the North. I mentioned Odell Beckham Jr. before, now a Cleveland Brown. Who in your mind wins that North? I think it's a tough division. I think we can kind of write the Bengals off as division winners.
Oh, we're absolutely writing them off. Yeah. I've got them 4th in the division.
So then but any of the other 3 are viable candidates to win it.
Yeah, I think the Ravens won it last season, didn't they?
Yeah.
Maybe they were a game ahead, or maybe it was a tie game, wasn't it? It was a draw, wasn't it? I've got the Steelers winning this one, and I've got the Browns coming 2nd and the Ravens 3rd, I think. And I mean, look, listen, Juju Smith-Schuster is a hell of a football player. I think he hits that like top 10 wide receivers this season. I think he really does prove that, you know.
It's going to be interesting because it's his first season where he's not going to be, teams aren't going to be
He's not a foil,
yeah, he's not like you have to double Antonio Brown, so Juju's one-on-one or whatever. Now teams will be planning to stop Juju, so it'll be interesting to see how he reacts with it. I've gone for Cleveland to win the division.
Okay.
I worry about the offensive line. I think it's bad. I think it's not great at all, but I'm big on Baker Mayfield. I'm a big fan. I quite like what they've done defensively. I don't think it's brilliant, but I think they've got corners, which helps. I think in that division, you definitely need corners, and they've got them. I mean, listen,
Myles Garrett to step up again.
I think he's brilliant. I think he's a stud. I worry because again, it's pure prediction because I've not seen this team play, and Odell Beckham's injury record isn't brilliant. The Steelers, I like Devin Bush. I thought it was an amazing draft because essentially they just got the new Shazier. I still worry about them on that side. So I've gone Cleveland just like very, very narrow, and I suppose you're all the same with.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit down on the Ravens, and I'm a little high on the Browns, and maybe I'm overlooking what the Ravens did last season a little bit.
They've lost players since though.
They have. That's the thing, isn't it? Now, for me, you know, there's going to be a point in the season where the Steelers look amazing, and there's going to be a point in the season where the Steelers look shit.
That's every Steelers season ever.
Exactly, and so. You could toin toss, sorry,
or coin toss even.
Or coin toss even. where that is going to go. Yeah. I've gone, Roethlisberger steps up and proves that he didn't need Brown. That's what I've gone.
And I've gone Nibble, I've gone Baker. The Ravens interesting, like I say, I think Earl Thomas is one of the best signings of the summer. I think he's going to be brilliant.
Possible comeback player of the year?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk on that. He's definitely in the mix, isn't he? After he broke his leg, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think at some point the Ravens, I think they're going to be good, and I think we'll talk about wild cards later. They're definitely in the mix for me. I was fascinated by what they did last year. I thought it was unbelievable. They just need Lamar Jackson to be able to pass.
Do you think they're going to have as much success this season now that teams have seen Lamar for nearly a full
that's the
year?
thing. I mean, the Chargers completely outplanned them. Then they went small and fast and tried to plug the gaps. I think the threat of Jackson's legs means that he is so difficult to stop. They've got a really good running back. I thought Mark Ingram again, another good signing. It's going to be so hard to stop them. I think they'll be playing 3 or 4 tight end sets. It'll be mad. It's going to be completely bonkers, and it's going to be great to watch. I think they'll be thereabouts, but I haven't got them winning. But I think they'll be in the wildcard chat that we have in a bit.
Interesting. So what is it in the East then?
I mean, Patriots win.
You sure?
Yeah. I think...
Not the Dolphins?
I mean, the team who were trying to win will probably win. I'm pretty sure the Dolphins will come last. They give all the players away. I think, again...
Brilliant. I love how it's a competitive, professional sport, and teams actively try and lose.
I mean, it's very rarely...
What's that about?
It very rarely happens, but I think, to be fair, if any team needs to do it, it was Miami, because they were the definition of average. They were never good enough.
8-8 for 10 years.
They were never bad enough to get the high draft picks. So every time they had to draft Ryan Tannehill, 10, 11, 12. They want the number 1 pick in what's going to be an amazing quarterback draft, so fair play. I think their fans will accept that for 1 year, provided.
But it is mental, we've been into the NFL for a long time now.
You don't really see tanking, do you?
No, not really. I mean, the Colts absolutely did it when Manning went down.
But I don't think that by design. I think it was just because they were rubbish.
You sure?
Yeah.
They wanted that number 1 pick.
Yeah,
they wanted Buck coming out of the 2012 draft.
Yeah.
They absolutely did. So, I think it was surprising that the 49ers didn't do it a few years ago. Yeah. Was it 2 years ago the 49ers could have absolutely done it, and then they just decided, let's get Jimmy G in and get 5 games at the end of the season. Yeah. I thought that was really surprising that they didn't. But look, what I'm trying to say is, we've been NFL fans for a long time, and it still grates me that for a sport and as fans, they don't even like to see draws. The team can actually get away with tanking.
I think you get away with it. I think they'll give you a year. I don't think you can do it twice. So if they, for example, they tank, they finish 2-14, which they'll do well to win 2, then and they draft 2 or they draft from, or whoever comes out as the best quarterback next year, I think everyone will accept it. Because if you ask the Browns now how they felt before they got Baker Mayfield, and they're like, yeah, brilliant. It was all worth it. So I think if you get the stud star quarterback, then it kind of doesn't matter. It's you got to get the right one. And what I would say is, whoever he is who comes in is going to have nobody around him. They're going to have to draft really well around him. But they're
going to have quite a few picks in that first round. Is it
2 1s, 2 2s in the next 4 drafts? It's crazy. So it could work. We'll see how that one panned out. Cleveland again. Cleveland had done it, and I've just picked them to win a division. So,
but they had a few attempts at doing it.
They did. It took a while. Yeah, it took 40 years. So Patriots win. I think we're confident of this.
Easy.
Are Bills and Jets in your wildcard discussion?
They are not.
Okay.
I've got Patriots, Bills, Jets, Dolphins, and none of them are in the wildcard discussion for me.
Okay. I've got Bills second as well. They're kind of in mind, I think, but I don't know if they quite make it. We'll tune in to find out.
Okay.
What they call a spoiler. AFC South, this is, I mean, I as all the divisions, I found this really, really tough. And I kind of done it because they're all kind of flawed teams. Like, excuse me, I think...
One team goes on a run, they can win the division.
It wouldn't be a shock if any of these teams went 6 and 10, and it wouldn't be a shock if any of them went 10 and 6. I don't know, and it's so hard to call, so I'm going to let you go first.
I rewrote this 3 times, I think it was. I think to begin with, I had the Jags winning out the division.
See, I've got them last.
A week ago, I would have said the Colts walk the division.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No problem whatsoever. So, and I've listened to loads and loads of people talking about it, and I've read loads about the Colts since obviously Andrew Luck decided to jack it in, and everything that I've read and listened to, they're really high on Jacoby Brissett. And because of that, because it was Belichick that drafted him a few years ago, because he's a different player to 2 years ago when he was the starter for the Colts, I'm going to stick with the Colts as winning out the division. And by all accounts, he's an absolute leader, and it's not just bluster that these lads believe in Jacoby Brissett. And I'm gonna go with what everybody's been saying.
As backups go, I thought he was one of the better ones. And what was nice about him, and again, the Colts never knew Luck was going to retire, is that they kind of got a little bit of an Andrew Luck light in that he's a big, strong guy, absolute cannon arm. I always thought Andrew Luck's best skill was that he was great in muddy pockets, and and Brissett's good at that as well. I don't think he runs as well as Luck. I thought Luck's an amazing athlete, but they kind of got the same style of quarterback, albeit just not as good, nowhere near as good, really. I have gone for the Texans to win this division.
See, I think they're worse than last year.
And the only reason I've done it, they traded for Larry Tunsil, so that helps. Because, I mean...
That's going to shore up the line, at least. He's left tackle, isn't he?
Yeah, left tackle. So Deshaun Watson literally couldn't get on an aeroplane at one point last year because his lungs hurt. I'm not a huge medical expert, but if your quarterback can't get on an aeroplane because his lungs hurt, you probably need to get an offensive line. There's a reason why Andrew Luck's retiring, actually. It's for the same reason. I think the Texans roster isn't brilliant, but I think it's got star players in it. I think it's got the best receiver, or one of. I think it's got a star quarterback. I like Duke Johnson's going to probably their RB1 now, and I like him. Obviously, JJ Watt, Whitney Merciless. Obviously, they've lost Jadeveon Clowney, but...
So he was the best of them.
He was last year. I mean, again, how often JJ... With JJ Watt's
I just look at it, I like, apart from, is it Tunsil, the last guy they've just brought in the last couple of days, apart from him, I think they've lost in every other trade that they've made and stuff. So for me, obviously they needed a left tackle, but I just don't think they're as good anywhere else.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? And I'm just, again, it's a coin flip, because I think the Titans could be good.
The Titans are one of them, the definition of what you said, could be 10 and 6, could be 6 and 10. You just don't know. And I'm going, it's his second full season now as head coach, isn't it?
Mike Vrabel.
Is it his third?
And it's one of them where, again, if anyone comes to me and said, any of these 4 could win it, I'd be like, yeah, they absolutely could. I'm not confident. I went Texans, Colts, Titans, Jags, but I mean, you could flip that in any way, shape or form, and Nick Foles could be Nick Foles, Jesus Nick Foles, and he could. And their defense is amazing. They're so talented. I just don't believe in Nick Foles, which is mad, but I still don't. I've basically gone, who do I think is the best quarterback? And the rest.
It's a good place to start.
Yeah, and because every one of those teams has got flaws. I actually think the Colts have got the least amount of flaws. I think their roster.
But they've got a flaw at the biggest position.
And it's happened so late. There's no planning for that. It's just a week before the season starts. So I'm hesitantly going Texans, and I don't think there's any wild cards coming out of this.
No. Same here, mate. I've not got any of them coming out for wild cards. I have got a wild card coming out of the AFC West.
Have you got the Chiefs winning?
Yes.
So I think we don't need to go too much into that. I actually think they're going to win the Super Bowl, and I'll get that later as well. Who's your wild card?
Chargers.
Okay, I'm down on the Chargers. The offensive line and the injuries already. They're always injured and then injured again.
Yeah, they always have been.
Yeah, so yeah, fair play.
So who Raiders or Broncos? It's got to be Broncos, right?
I think the Chargers will come second.
Oh, right, okay.
I just don't think it'll be...
You don't think it's enough for a wild card?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Because I think the Steelers will get one of them with 10 wins. I think that... And then you're looking at the other wild card places and you're thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Ravens. I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of them from that division. Because I think they're all going to hammer the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to be one of the worst teams in the league. So I think if they automatically all beat the Bengals, and then they kind of take points off each other and games off each other rather, I think my two wild... I'm going to stick my neck out and go Ravens and Steelers. I'm going to go 3 playoff teams from the North.
Ravens and Steelers.
As the wild cards.
Wow. I have got the Chargers as one of them. And I have got the Jaguars in the AFC South as the second behind the Colts. So they're my 2 playoff teams.
Yeah, you can't go against it. On the... Looking at what Oakland and Denver briefly, are you enthused by what you've seen from either or?
I love the Raiders. I've loved Hard Knocks this series.
Yeah, so
It's you know, nearly every year it suckers me in. It didn't when it was the Bucks. Yeah. It made me go, no, yous are terrible. But I love John Gruden, man. I just love him, you know what I mean? Knock on wood. He's just class. How can you not love him? And Antonio Brown is clearly the most talented, one of the most talented wide receivers, the best probably in the last 20 years of playing NFL. But
he's such a diva.
He's so funny though. He's great, but he's not a tit. He's not like a knobhead. He's just delicate / self-involved, very, very self-involved. Doesn't understand what other people think of him. Cannot, he thinks that he's been made out as the bad guy. He's never on the field. He's not been on the field during pre-season. Yet he's still, he's going to turn up because there was a couple of ones where Gruden was talking about him and it's like, he knows the playbook. He's never actually ran a route for us, but he knows it better than everybody else. And I like that. I'm loving Hunter Renfrow. I think he's looking class at the moment. Waller as the tight end's looking great for them in pre-season.
They can't defend.
No. And it is a bit of an issue.
And that's why I think the offense could be really good. And again, a lot of that will go on Derek Carr. And
they just signed the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Deshaun Carr from us.
We know all about him. You told me all about him, and we obviously saw him for the Packers. That gets some alarm bells ringing.
He thinks the 2 backups aren't very good.
Or he thinks he's going to have to replace Carr at some point during the season, is the other way you can look at it.
Yeah, and then he's going to pick from which of those. I mean, he's not going to be...
Because they're all on the 53-man roster, aren't they?
At the minute, yeah, it's weird. They'll sort that out, I'm sure.
They'd have to. I mean, Glennon's not looked good in pre-season, has he? The problem is Nate Peterman's Nate Peterman. and I'm like, pre-season's one thing.
Can I say something on Nate Peterman? I done a draft the other day on Flea Flicker. I know they rank players, because Flea Flicker keeps historical data, it keeps old quarterbacks on the system as well. And Peyton Manning was on it, and he was higher ranked than Nathan Peterman.
And he should be. He absolutely fucking should be.
If you're going to draft one in fantasy this year, more people would rather have taken Peyton Manning than Nate Peterman. So that goes to show that.
Hey, listen, Manning ain't throwing an interception. Nate Peterman's throwing loads off them.
6 in one game. So yeah, I think the Ravens offense could be good. Very good. I think that defensively they're going to be awful. And I can kind of...
It could be a fun team to watch.
And I'm going to flip that for the Broncos. I think defensively they're going to be quite good. I am not a Joe Flacco lover.
Listen, he peaked 7 years ago. And 7 years is a long time in the NFL.
And his back's been bad. And
I don't know what the GM's doing over there, mate, to be honest with you.
He just loves tall, big QBs.
But it's like... You went with Manning, brilliant, you know what I mean? You absolutely whiffed every other time.
Yeah, absolutely. Paxton Lynch.
Our guy, Case Keenum.
Yeah, it's been bad.
It's been terrible. So I'm looking at it and going, listen, I'll forget everything I know about Joe Flacco, but I know, apart from one thing, he's not Peyton Manning, so you've whiffed. Because you can't pick a quarterback, which is mad.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think he'll do okay. But I don't think he can do enough with what he's got. He depends on the talent around him.
But he hasn't got the long ball in him anymore, the deep ball. He's not able to throw
I think he'll find his tight end 100 times a game or whatever. I just don't think... I know it's different when... Other than that playoff run, which was like 3 games, I think Joe Flacco is carried by his team. I don't think they're that talented to carry him. I think they've got good running backs. But other than that...
And they will use them. Yeah. They will lean on them.
Other than that, I don't know. So in this division, I went... Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders.
I flipped Raiders and Broncos.
Yeah, but over that, so your 2 wild cards to confirm.
My 2 wild cards are the Chargers and the Jags.
And I went for the 2 AFC North teams. I went for all 3 getting out of that division.
So I've got the Chargers as beating the Colts in wild card, and the Steelers beating the Jags in the wild card.
Okay, because you had the Steelers winning your division, didn't you? So I I went, obviously, because I've got 3 from the same division. I had 2 of them playing each other. I had Browns, Ravens, with the Browns going through, I think I had. Obviously, Kansas City got the bye and the Patriots got the bye for me.
Yeah.
So then it was Texans versus Steelers, and I had the Steelers winning that.
How do you remember all of this?
Because, I don't know, chopping my head.
There's lots of room. It's incredible.
Lots of room in that big head of mine.
You're basically remembering 12 teams and the order that you've placed them all in.
This is where it gets tricky when I have to try and figure it. Basically, I end up with a Chiefs-Patriots Super Bowl. Sorry, AFC title game.
Okay, so I've got
in Kansas City, though. That's the important thing.
Okay, I've got the Steelers going to New England again.
And losing again.
Again.
Yeah.
And I've got the Chiefs beating the Chargers.
So then, who's your 1 seed, though? Was it New England or was it Kansas City?
It's the Chiefs.
So you got the Patriots going to Kansas City. Exact same. And who wins?
Chiefs.
Yeah, same. So there you go. AFC done. Kansas City Chiefs. Let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win every AFC division, wildcards, etc., etc.
I feel like you forgot the way it was and you just went with mine towards the end.
No,
I think there was too much information.
I literally give it away before. I picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I literally spoiled it. NFC's tough. I found this much more difficult. Let's start in the North. We started in the North before. A division that we both know well. For those who are new to the show, I'm a big Packers fan. Chris loves the Vikings.
Yeah, we're both big fans because we're both big. Literally and metaphorically and everything else in between. Who's winning the North?
I've got the Vikings.
So have I, unfortunately.
There are a few concerns coming out of training camp, don't get me wrong. I think the defence is getting around 30 years old now. You know, we've kept most of the parts. We're going to have a problem next year with salary cap.
Cross that bridge when we get to it.
But we'll cross that bridge. We've been in win now for 2 years, unfortunately. So, you know, I think the kicker is there's still going to be question marks going into the season over that. But pure talent-wise on the offence, I think we've got the best offence. I think Cousins is going to be slightly better, and I really hope he's going to be better than last season. Defensively, right. The big concern coming out of training camp is that the offence have been beating the defence a lot in training camp, and considering we're supposed to be a defensive football side, that's a little bit of a concern, but it's hard to tell in training camp.
I think Dalvin Cook's going to be really good.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I've gone for the Vikings just with Green Bay second. I know Chicago won it last year. I just don't believe in the offense. I believe in
Is it Trubisky?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, and what's around him. I think Matt Nagy's done really well to scheme. I think he schemes really, really well. They won the division with the defense. It was like 8 touchdowns, and they were getting interceptions.
The forced fumbles and the recoveries.
I just don't know if that's sustainable. It might be, because Khalil Mack's amazing. So it could easily be that they just absolutely dominate everything again. But it's hard. They've lost pieces of, obviously Green Bay, Sam, one of them. It's hard to see that just transferring season to season. And I think the Vikings are ultimately the better team. So I went Vikings 1, Packers 2, Bears 3, Lions 4.
Yeah, exactly the same.
We'll look to our wild cards in a minute, hopefully for my sake. I'm going to put the Packers in.
I've got the Packers making a wild card. I think there's maybe a game in it.
It might even be the tiebreak or something.
Yeah.
Let's go south.
Okay.
Again, really tough. I think the Saints are brilliant. Obviously, we know this. I think the Falcons look pretty good. The Bucks could be anything.
Shit.
Yeah, maybe. And the Panthers, I think, are still very, very talented.
I've got the Panthers finishing second, actually, in this division. Now I've got
the Saints winning it?
Yeah, with the Saints winning it. Listen, we know all about the Saints. They should have been in the Super Bowl last season. I've got the Panthers having an upturn of a year, and the Falcons is another little slight downturn.
Are you worried about how Drew Brees looked at the end of last year?
No.
No, okay. I am a little bit. His arm looked a little bit...
But maybe they've got the pieces to...
Long season and all of those.
And we might see more Taysom Hill and everything else this season. The fact is,
Kamara,
they've got one of the
Thomas.
best offensive coordinators, as you mentioned, Kamara, Thomas. They are stacked, loaded, and the defence was much improved than the year previous last year, and I think it's going to continue at that level.
Yeah, same. I've got the same order as you. Carolina 2.
Oh, have you? I'm surprised at that. I thought...
Mate, I'm huge. I think Carolina are really good. But I need to see Cam again, because again this is a massive guess. Because people forget Carolina were really good last year until Cam's arm fell off, and then they were really, really, really bad. Long term viewers of the show will know how much of a McCaffrey fanboy I was and have continued to be. Defensively, I like them. I think they've got a really good front seven. I think that they're like you said, this is their last chance to do a little bit.
They're all getting old at the same time, obviously. I like Carolina to come second. The Falcons are just going to be in shootouts.
Again.
Because defensively they look awful. They're again, injuries. Offensively, they look good. In fact, they got the best receiver, one of the best of all time. Very good quarterback, decent offensive line.
He's going to get more touchdowns this season as well.
You would think so. Calvin Ridley looked really good. Devonta Freeman's back healthy. They just look a little bit like last year's Bucks, with more talent in that you're going to get 45, 48 games. That's how it looks to me. It's weird because they've got a defensive head coach and they've drafted loads of quick, speedy defensive players, and for whatever reason, it just hasn't worked. And then they're injured again. They look to me like a team playing modern NFL defense, which is fine, but I'm not sure why. It just hasn't always clicked properly. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if the Falcons were in the Super Bowl, but I wouldn't be shocked if they were 6-10 either. I just don't know how to place them. I think the other two teams are probably a little bit more consistent, and then I've got the Bucks last. As much as
Evans to still have a good season.
Bruce Arians, I like him. In fact, I love Bruce Arians. I think he's amazing. I think the Jameis Winston experience, we know what it is. It's up and down, and when you have an up and down quarterback, you get up and down seasons and up and down games.
It's like he's still a rookie.
They're going to be a tough out every week to week. Like they'll beat a good team or two. They might beat the Saints at home or something. You know, something crazy. But they went to the Dome and won last year, but then they're going to be bad in other games. I'm quite comfortable with them being last in this division, but I don't think they'll be terrible. Like 5-6 wins, not like 2-3 wins.
Who do you reckon's going to have the lowest amount of wins? Dolphins?
Yeah.
And then who?
Bengals.
Yeah.
Bad. I think they're bad. I think they're both really bad. We'll come back to wild cards in a minute anyway. Let's go East. I think the NFC East is another one. That's again, it looks a little bit top heavy.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the Eagles winning this division again. I think a lot of people have been going for the Cowboys on this one, and I've seen a lot of people going for, like, when they're doing the predictions for Garrett being coach of the year and stuff like that. Now, obviously, his fortunes will very much be tied into Zeke Elliott.
Is he playing? We think he's going to play. Do we know?
He's still supposed to be holding out as it stood yesterday, I think. I've not seen anything today.
It's weird, isn't it?
But
he's probably going to play. Maybe.
I really think the Eagles are going to be much better this season. I think Wentz is going to come back and show us exactly who he is as a quarterback. We might see the Wentz from 2 years ago. They've still got, Zach Ertz and Alshon Jeffrey and players like that. So they're going to be absolutely fine. I think they'll bounce back this season. I really do. And I think they'll win the division by a game or two from the Cowboys. Yeah.
I've got Eagles as well, with the Cowboys second, and then the other two I've just got bombing out.
Redskins is the worst side in the division for me.
I think
Giants
so.
Just about.
I hope this is the year that we see like go. And listen, I don't say that because I dislike him. I just think it's time. And they've drafted the first round guy. And listen, I wasn't huge on Daniel Jones. I thought it was a shock they took him. They just essentially took another Eli. It even looks like him a little bit. But let's just get him in there. Week 6, week 7, see how they go. A little bit, hope for a little bit of magic. That turns the season at the end of the season. That's why I've gone for them. The Redskins, I think, are in the worst position of any team in the league, in that they've got big money players, and yet they're still really crap. Like, they're not going to bomb out. They're not going to get the number 1 pick. Yeah. And they're not going to get the number. They might win like 4 or 5 games and end up with like the 7th pick. And they've just took a quarterback who I think will be okay, but I don't think he's anywhere near what's coming next. I just worry that they're kind of like in Redskins purgatory again. Which is kind of
it's kind of like we were talking about your fantasy draft this afternoon, where we in one of your leagues and you were 9th, and it's just a horrible place to be. And the Redskins kind of feel like they're in that situation.
Yeah, I just feel like they went early on the quarterback because they felt like they had to do something. If I was them, I'd have just stuck with Case Keenum for a season and then seen what happens next year. Obviously, Alex Smith's never going to. We don't think he's going to play. Hopefully, he's healthy, but it looks like the ship sailed on that one. They just look a bit of a mess, and they went and spent massive money on a safety.
Why? From where you are?
No, fine, absolutely fine. Orlando Collins is decent, but would you not have been better just being a bit more rubbish and then doing? I would rather now, if I was a GM, I'd rather walk into Miami than Washington, because I know it's going to be absolute a shit show for a year. But then I'm going to be able to mould everything I've got here. You walk into Washington and you're like, well, he's okay and he's a bit old, and I've got some decent players. I've got, my tackle doesn't want to be here anymore. I've got. It seems a bit of a mess. So I've got the Eagles as well, by the way.
Okay.
With Dallas second.
So West, it's just the West then, isn't it? Yeah.
I'll start. I think the Rams win it. Easily. Going away. And then I don't know what to think of Seattle.
Really? I've got them as a wild card.
Yeah, I think I like them. but I don't know if I like them enough. Like I love them. I think the 49ers, I've got loads of good players, and yet I don't know what to... Again,
no, I think...
They're always in, and they're injured a lot.
Yeah, the thing that I like about the Seahawks is that last season we saw them zig when everyone else was zagging. You know, we saw them run the ball, was it between 50 and 60% of the time. They had 2 running backs, and they would just pound it and pound it and pound it. And what I love about that more than anything is nobody's built to stop that anymore. Everybody's built, you mentioned it before, fast, quick, agile guys can get sideline to sideline. Put a big set in there against Seattle. You can't, and here's the thing, when you're in that division, you can't just build your team to beat Seattle because they're not good enough, because you've got the Rams to deal with and stuff like that, who are going to throw with Cup and all the weapons that they've got. So I just think that they're going to grind out victories, and they're just going to slyly just notch them up.
Yeah, I think,
because they're a horrible matchup for the team now.
Especially at home. I think Clowney's a good pickup. I thought losing Thomas was a big blow. But getting Jadeveon Clowney will be a big help. You know, I still think that that's a slight loss, a little bit of a downgrade. But I think I've got I don't know. You know, where you fill all the results in and they come out 8-8, and that's kind of how I feel about them. You know, what I mean, I think they're good, not brilliant. I didn't have them as a wild card.
Okay.
My 2 wild cards were Green Bay and Carolina.
Okay.
Yours were Green Bay and Seattle.
Yeah.
In which order?
I've got the Seahawks and then the Packers, 5 and 6.
Yeah. So I had Packers 5, Carolina 6. So seeding-wise, did you have...
I've got the Packers playing the Eagles and the Vikings playing the Seahawks.
Ah, okay. So you think the Rams and the Saints are the top seeds again? See, I had the Eagles and the Rams with the bye.
Interesting.
So
Rams so 1, Saints versus...
Rams 1, Eagles 2. I had Saints versus Carolina. 3 versus 6 with the Saints winning, and then I had 4 versus 5. Just happened to be the Packers and the Vikings.
Again?
Yeah. Packers win in Minnesota.
Okay.
That's just...
So I've got the Packers beating the Eagles and the Vikings beating the Seahawks.
Okay, so then we're kind of thereabouts. Let's go to the title game then. So who...
Oh, hang on, no. We've got the Saints. I've got the Saints and the Packers.
Saints win, do you?
Saints to win, and the Rams beating the Vikings.
Okay, so I ended up... Oh, I hate doing this, but it was...
You knocked yourself out, didn't you?
Yeah, in LA.
That makes sense. I think you get battered there.
Yeah, I
think you get battered at your ground at Lambeau, to be honest, mate.
I had the Packers nearly won last year in LA at one stage, but I think I had that, and then it was I had Eagles, Saints, with the Eagles winning. So I've got Rams, Eagles in LA with the Eagles.
So you've got Eagles, Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I've got the Saints beating the Chiefs in their own place to go to the Super Bowl.
So the Saints win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, over
apologies.
The Chiefs. Saints win the Super Bowl over the Chiefs.
Because they go to LA, apologies. They beat them in the championship game, and then I've got them winning the Super Bowl.
So you've
Saints, Chiefs.
Saints, Chiefs. I've got Eagles, Chiefs, and we've both gone for the NFC team to win it. Mm-hmm. There you go. Let us know in the comments below who you think's going to win the Super Bowl. Who again?
We should have just started with that and ended the video.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, Eagles. It's just Saints by.
Saints.
I want division.
And Breeze retires.
And Breeze retires. Oh, okay, makes sense. Let us know, comments below if you're watching on YouTube. I want all your division winners, all your wild cards, and then go through your playoff scenarios as well. If you're listening on the podcast, tweet us at Cover2TV. Let us know your thoughts.
I forgot, I've got to put it as a podcast. It was a good job you said that.
Okay, there you go. Put it as a podcast.
I don't even know if I've got the login details. I'm not sure I've got the YouTube on. No one will ever see this conversation, Steve.
Hopefully you do see this conversation and or hear it. Keep an eye on the channels because we'll be back with our individual season predictions. Chris, it was good to be back.
It was good, mate. I enjoyed it.
Hopefully you guys at home enjoyed it too. That was Cover2TV. Ta-ra.